Okay, again, we do both chess and music content on here on this channel, but we do need to go back to our regularly scheduled programming for a little moment. This is part two of the Laughing Gambit portion on the Quick Eye series. Um, okay, so um, this variation of I was originally going to go over individual variations on the Latvian Gambit, but one of the variations that White could play is actually pretty straightforward. So you don't really need any like further details on it. Uh, okay. Let's go over the moves on one of the variations. Okay, e4, e5, knight to f3, f5, and then if he goes e takes f5, you go e4, and there are two routes that white can take here. If if he goes knight here, you saw the model game from last night, so you have that to look over. Please feel free to study that game. I even have the PGN in the video description of that video. Um, if he goes knight e5, you obviously have the knight f to f6, d4, d6, that whole shebang. Um, was it d6? Yeah, it might have been d6. You already saw the refutations back in the previous. Hold on, let's see if I still got this. Yeah, knight c4, bishop takes f5, knight e3. No, that's not it. That's not it. Yeah, knight e5. Oh, yeah, knight to f6. Yeah, bishop b2. Was it bishop b2? d6? Yeah, it was bishop b2. Bishop. It was bishop b2 d6. Yeah, bishop h5. Yeah. Now I remember because they were trying to check you, and then you have that, and then yeah, we make it look like they forked our pieces, but we just simply go back and then take the rook, and then you take with a threat on the queen, and oh, you lost your queen for free. Nope, you have the knight there. This stuff you absolutely have to memorize. You need to know what to do when the bishop tries to check you, and I'm going to study this. I'm going to memorize this repeatedly myself just to make sure that I'm well prepared, because the next time I play Latvian Gambit, it's going to bite me unless I remember this. So you have that. If he, well, that's all you need to know for the the normal accepted variation. Now the big one you absolutely need to know, is the Mayat attack, and yeah, there's a reason why there's this video is going to go over the Mayat attack extensively, and it has come to my attention that there's this one guy that claimed that, oh, this is nothing to worry about because this is nothing to worry about because you just have to take, and then he takes, and then you just have to go here, and then the knight is going to be here. and then when the knight goes here, you can take, and then the rook has to move here, and then you get d5. He will take the rook, and then you have this, and then oh, it looks like you blocked your threat, but you have this sneaky move, and then he will take your bishop, but you have this sneaky move, and then he has to block with your rook. He has to block with this rook, and then you have this checkmate. That's what he's claiming. And there is even a national master that also claims that. Well, actually, he's an international master. Sorry. Even he claims that this is the more likely scenario. And personally, I don't buy that. I genuinely don't buy that. And this is why, if your opponent actually knows this move, you're in serious trouble. And this is why this episode had to be made, this part 2, because now we have to, there's an awful lot of theory you have to memorize, because if you don't know this stuff, you will lose the game, and the best way out of this is to play for a draw. And yeah, you lose all your attacking momentum if he plays this, so I'm starting to think that maybe this is what they mean by, oh, the Latvian Gambit is so easily refuted. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can still get a draw, and there is a good chance for a draw as long as you memorize all these moves. I mean, even at club level, like it's either one or the other. Like if you're playing this against a master level, you definitely have to memorize all the theory, and you should be good enough to memorize all the theory, and it should be a draw come what may. Either that, or you would play this at club level, and they're not likely to know this. Even if they know this, it's like. Even if they know this, they're not gonna know like the main lines and stuff. They're not gonna know any theory. They're just gonna play some like random moves, like something like, say, for example, if you say what's the move again? Yeah. If you say like here, he might go here or whatever, what have you. You will run into some players that do that. But other than that, yeah. And so now we're going to go over the variation that you absolutely need to know. There's like 21 moves that you absolutely need to remember in that order. And we're gonna have to go over them really fast. Okay. Bishop c4, f takes c4, right? Knight takes c5, queen g5. Up to this point, you know your stuff. And then the most likely move that will happen, and I've seen the analytics, and as it turns out, yeah, this is the more likely move, and not knight to f7. This is the more likely move. It's d4. This is where things start to really go sour. I mean, you obviously do the queen takes g2. You still do this, but yeah, you'll see why you really need to know what you're doing if you run into this. I mean, you're not likely to run into this sort of thing at club level, but you never know. Some people actually know this line, and if they do, you're kinda out of luck. Queen h5 check, g6, bishop f7 check, king d8, bishop takes g6, queen takes h1 check, king e2, queen takes c1, knight to f7 check, king e8, knight d6 check, king d8, knight to f7 check, king e8, And then you can get a threefold repetition like this, but he'll wise up and take the rook. You will lose your rook, come with me. You do take the bishop back, but you still get a check for free. He still gets a check for free, sorry. King d8, knight to f7 check, he'll continue the aggression. King to e7, knight to c3. This is where you have to really, really pay attention, because if you take the rook, you blunder mate in 3. Yeah, you don't want that. So you take the pawn instead with check. That's what you're supposed to do. King e1, d6, knight d5 check, king d7, queen takes g3, e3, f takes e3, bishop e7, knight g5, knight to a6. I mean, this is what the international master says that this is what's supposed to be played. But I have a strong suspicion that there's some other line you're supposed to know instead. I mean, this is up to this point, it's the mainline stuff. What does the engine say you should be playing here? Okay, I mean, it's still -1, which is, so if we, knight takes h8, h takes g6, queen takes g6 check, king d8, knight to f7 check, king e7, knight c3, queen takes c2 check, king e1, d6, knight d5 check. This almost looks like the same move. Queen takes g8, queen takes b2. Okay, this is where it starts out. What? That's an accuracy? What? Ugh. Anyway, I highly recommend you try to like to do more research on this line, because yeah, this portion of the Latvian Gambit is going to kind of shock you. I mean, if you were to face this at club level, the knight attack is still somewhat likely. The knight to f7 idea, it's still somewhat likely, but I mean that fork looks very tempting, I know, but I still have according to the databases, I still have a bit of a doubt that this is the more likely move. I still genuinely think he's going to play d5, and if he does, then the best you can do is pray for a draw through threefold repetition or something, and it's going to be really tough. But the good news is, this is not that this Maya's attack is not very likely to happen. The usual main line from here is knight takes, and then the move you absolutely need to remember is queen to f6, and then he'll try to hold on to his knight, and then you overload the knight, so the knight has to move, and that's how you get your pawn back, and then he'll get his other knight, and you get your queen to support your pawn. There's going to be further explanation on this variation, the main line of the Latvian Gambit, that we're going to look at, and we're going to look at that in part 3. Okay, have fun.